This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right?
Very.
So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon. Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row. Big Ten champions.
National champions, yes. The Ducks take home an indoor national title.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It is the final Athletic Director Tuesday on Duck Insider, and the way that the schedule worked out, it's the final Duck Insider of the academic year. I'm Joey Mack. Oregon Athletic Director Rob Mullens joins us today, getting ready for the track and field championships coming up at Hayward Field. That's going to be pretty exciting stuff.
Always exciting. It's been a busy few weeks of home events.
Yes, it
I mean,
has.
high level, great crowds, great energy.
Yeah, well, and to unpack that, so this is our final show, just the way the schedule fell and the broadcast schedule and the fact that Rob was slated to be on the show today, I thought, well, this makes sense to send us into the summer with a bang. So thank you for being here, as always. When I say this
Barely.
Barely
here.
Oh, you're always on time.
Yeah, 15 seconds to spare.
Yeah, no, you're always. Have you ever been late for a meeting? I mean, honestly, I don't think I've ever seen you be late for a meeting.
It really would bug me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I haven't, but
you're a time-oriented guy, though.
I very much so.
Yeah. I think it's a broadcaster thing, right?
Yeah.
In another life, you might have been a broadcaster. Have you ever thought about that?
No.
Really? Not at all.
Nah, I mean, I don't have that skill set.
I think that your knowledge base and the way that you see the sporting world, you could do it, Rob.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'll stick to my day job.
Not that you need to pivot or anything, right? Okay, so when I say
we should do a job swap one day.
Oh gosh, you talk about not having the skill set to do something. That's me.
It's just patience.
You. Oh my goodness. I mean, well, and especially in this landscape. Look, I mean, there's no doubt there's so much changing, but with that in mind, I want to say this phrase out loud and get your immediate reaction. Okay. 8 Big Ten titles in year one in the Big Ten Conference.
We're here.
How about that?
It was awesome.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. Obviously to see the student athletes be able to enjoy that and to celebrate. And listen, we knew it was going to be a big step up in competition. And in fact, it was in some sports. And then we elevated in a lot of sports ourselves. So, 8 is fantastic.
8's a big number. That's the most that the Ducks have ever won in a single year and for the entire athletic department. It was the most in the Big Ten Conference this year. And I don't know if you knew how prophetic you were when you gave everyone in the athletic department a framed big splash photo. So I had to tell this story. So guys, it is actually sitting here in the studio. We haven't had it in camera. If you lean forward, Rob, it's sitting on the fridge right
Oh,
here.
yeah, I see it. Yeah.
So, I mean, look, a giant inflatable duck ends up making literal and metaphorical waves throughout the world. And here we are. Big Splash was the caption to said photo. And Rob, I mean, you called it on that one.
Well, that big duck certainly got a lot of attention. Still does get a lot of attention to this day. Listen, we're very excited to be new members of the Big Ten. Our expectations didn't change. And so our coaches, student athletes, and staff just went after it, and it was fun.
Put it into words for us. I mean, how did the first year go?
I think it went great. Obviously there's a lot of learnings. We were in a lot of new cities, had some new itineraries, new routines. I was just talking to Coach Altman and what it was like to prepare for 14 new scouts, and what that took. And so again, I think our team, meaning coaches, student athletes, staff, adapted well, prepared the right way, and all in all, it was a tremendous success.
I mean, put the money where the mouth is. The 8 titles says a lot.
It does say a lot. And when you look, those were spread out across seasons, and some may have been a surprise, others may have been expected, but it's about broad-based excellence here, and that 8 championships signifies that.
You've said that from day one of being the athletic director, and I was kind of curious for that perspective from you. Like, is this what qualifies? I mean, it has to be,
I
right?
do. I mean, typically we've been focused on the Directors Cup, right, and NCAA finishes, and that's kind of been the marker of that broad-based success. But 8 conference titles obviously contributes to that, because if you're winning conference championships in this league, you have the ability to make deep runs.
And to that Directors Cup point, by the way, everyone, Ducks doing pretty well. Still some points out there.
Yeah,
Ducks are doing pretty well in the Directors
No,
Cup.
we had a great fall, good winter, and obviously the spring has been fantastic. But as you said, there's still some points out there.
Yeah. Let's talk about the spring as we continue with Oregon Athletic Director Rob Mullens. How about the softball team? One of the last 6 playing, Rob.
Yeah, no, pretty remarkable. Obviously, Missy's done a phenomenal job in her 7 seasons here, and to be able to get the regional at the Jane, we saw what that can do.
Jane sanity,
no doubt. And then to be able to have the super regional here, it just one, they're just the energy, the fun, the opportunity for the student athletes is very special, and our community really rallied around it. I mean, we set record attendance in softball and baseball, and when you get to the postseason and the whole world's watching it, I get, just like you do, numerous texts from former colleagues, former donors, friends saying, man, Jane Sanders Stadium just looks electric.
Yeah. That's what makes it so special, too. So I was talking with Lisa Peterson about this, that, she kind of shepherded part of that project through,
sure.
right? And now seeing that, just what that means for the alumni, for her, for student athletes. I mean, that's what this is all about.
It really is. And, obviously Herb Yamanaka, has been here for 70 years as a part of this department in various roles. And, he was the lead steward on getting the gift for that project. And I think we have talked about it. Went to that construction site every single day to make sure that, it was going to be the finest softball facility in the world for Oregon softball, but also to deliver on the promise that he made to Mr. Sanders as, I'm going to watch over this project. And it just absolutely delivered. And so, Herb sits front row right above the dugout at every game at Jane Sanders Stadium, and what great pride he took in that advancing to the College World Series. And then, even in the days leading up to it, we have some fun in the office, and, he's geared up and ready.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
Well, and you always want to win the last one, right? And we're going to talk, by the way, with Coach Lombardi coming up here on this program in just a little while, but still, that experience to get to that point, so that's really valuable.
Oh, very valuable. And then when you think back, to the, how we had to fight through the regional, and then, being able to get the super regional at home and have that opportunity, and you have a walk-off in game 1. Those are just incredible, moments. Version 7, I love how they coined that and what it did, and boy, did they lay a foundation for the future with that team.
No doubt. Now, we'll talk more softball coming up as we continue with Rob Mullens. And then baseball. Got the chance to host a regional at PK Park. Doesn't come around very often.
It doesn't. And, kudos to our crowd, boy. Friday night, again, the place was electric. The student section was packed. Fans were in, having a great time. The energy, the vibe was just phenomenal. So those don't always come around, and it was very special, and I really appreciate how our staff prepared for it, executed on it, and how our community really supported both softball and baseball.
Yeah, and for baseball, again, you always want to win the last one, right? They're going to be the first to tell you they wish they were still playing too. Sometimes that's just not the way that it works out.
Yeah, I mean, both baseball and softball are very interesting postseasons for those that continue to follow it. It's sometimes it's just come down to matchups or a call or there's just a lot of circumstances that go into it, and we'd all like to still be playing. But it was a successful season nonetheless.
We're going to get a timeout. We're going to come back with Oregon AD Rob Mullens, talk about track and field, the season ahead, and then it's the last time that we'll talk with Rob before we're talking football. Can you believe that?
I know. It happened so fast.
It does come at you quick. We're going to do that, review the year a little bit more as we continue on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by your local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
You say you never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The possibility is scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon Athletic Director Rob Mullens joining us. It's our final edition of our daily program. Don't worry, there's going to be so many things to keep track of over the summer. And that's the beauty of having things like social media. And we'll have all that for you heading into fall camp. We're targeting July 28th, by the way, for the return of Duck Insider. So when you're ready to put the sunscreen on and head out to football practice, we'll have you back in the studio.
Yeah, it'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, and that's on the horizon. But before we get there, outdoor track and field championships coming up. It's finals week next week at the University of Oregon as well, with graduation coming up on the 16th. There's nothing like being at Hayward Field when the track and field championships are here.
No, I mean, this is, we had a little trial run with the Big Ten championships, and those who visited it for the first time were blown away, sure, as we experienced often. And here's another chance to convince the NCAA that, we should be a permanent host. You're watching it right now with softball in OKC. Yeah. And I was out there with the team experiencing the way that community embraces it. Omaha with college baseball. And, Eugene is the same way with track. And I'm confident that we run a track meet better than anybody else in the world, let alone in college athletics. And so here's our opportunity. Let's fill Hayward Field. We've got a lot of things planned. There's, great athletes. These are all future or even current Olympians. And so, it is just a fantastic. And the way the NCAA has adjusted the setup to have, the gender championships on one day, you can just track it event after event after event. It's usually a thrilling finish.
It is. I mean, there's been some that Oregon's been a part of that have been awfully thrilling. There are posters up in this studio of said finish. I mean,
that 4x4 was unbelievable. I mean, that would have to be Mount Rushmore of Oregon moments for me in my tenure here, just because, you know what has to happen. It happens off of turn 4, right, and just a gritty, gutty finish.
Yeah, and I mean, Oregon's involved. It's in Eugene. I understand why a lot of coaches probably are like, maybe it shouldn't be in Eugene every year, but okay, I'm genuinely curious about this, Rob, because it's been a topic of conversation. You and I have said it every chance we get whenever you're on the show that, Eugene should be the permanent host. It is called Tracktown USA after all. How do we get that to be a thing? How do we do it, Rob? What does it actually take?
We're open to suggestions because we've tried everything that we can think of, and we continue. So we're open to suggestions, but as you said, is people's whose job security depend on their team performance do raise their hand and say, there's a little bit of an edge. I think if you looked at the data, it probably doesn't back it up. But I understand their point of view.
The best teams are going to win.
The best
individuals are going to win. I mean, you just see that.
Yes.
So
and the reality is, yes, when an Oregon runner comes off a turn 4 and it's close, there's a little bit of oomph. But our track fans are so educated. They cheer great performance. And they also cheer every athlete. I think if people are paying attention on the distance events, they cheer loudly for the person who's the last one to finish.
Yeah.
And so, listen, I think if you did a survey to student athletes, Hayward would be a runaway winner.
That's the student athlete experience.
Yes.
Beyond Oregon.
Yes.
To me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was just curious to really nail that head.
Yeah. So if you have any ideas that we haven't pitched, let me know because we're all about it.
NCAA, it is Tracktown USA for a reason. This is just one person's opinion. Year in review, Rob. I always just like to ask you for some of your favorite moments throughout the course of this year.
It was a great year, and it's just fun to be connected to the community and see what can happen, whether it's economically or just kind of the energy. When you think back to, the number of sold-out football games that we had, and you think about the buzz that was created for Ohio State, the economic impact of, hotel rooms sold out from here to Portland. Someone told me a couple of weeks ago the busiest rental car day from PDX was the Ohio State football weekend.
I bet.
So you just, think about that, and then you go through, going on the road to new cities where we got to meet so many Midwest Ducks or East Coast Ducks, and inviting some of our new conference peers to Eugene, and that Nebraska volleyball match setting an attendance record. And so there were, and the chance to, break a record in baseball attendance, break a record in softball attendance, watch Derek Radley in women's golf make a deep run again. And I'm probably forgetting so many other great things. A national championship indoor. So there was just so many moments. But it's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate. And when we come together, powerful things can happen.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've always said that sports at its best brings people together, whether it be at the youth level or at this level. And you talk about the international exposure and brand influence of the O. I mean, that's what's so fun for me to be a part of it. And I always see it a little bit sentimental because we're coming up on graduation. It's a new chapter for the graduating class's lives. That's a powerful thing every year.
No, it is. Our youngest is graduating from high school. I got a state semifinal baseball playoff game tonight. There's a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. Looking ahead now to the fall, a football season. Before you know it, we're going to be talking about soccer with Tracy Joyner. We're going to be talking about volleyball with Trent Kirsten. A couple new coaches for fans to get to know.
Yeah, no, they're doing a phenomenal job. Trent is a big and Tracy both are fans of college athletics. You've seen them at our venues. You've seen Tracy at PK Park. Trent and his family, were staples at Jane Sanders. And so that's what happens here, right? It is a culture. We want to create family, and they both have jumped all in, excited to see them in the fall. And you better get your football tickets because there are not many left.
Yeah, so that was going to be one of my questions for you. I mean, just what's the call for fans? Because it's that.
There's not many season tickets left. We're going to go out with single inventory soon, maybe this week. And people are going to be surprised when they go to click on that single game inventory. There's going to be no seats in the sections where they start looking.
Right. Yeah. I know.
And that's the nature because the season ticket demand is high. And the mini plan demand was high. So when people go in looking for single games through us, it's going to be limited inventory.
Which is great.
It is exactly what we want. We want a sold-out venue just like we had last year. And we're trending that way.
That's great. Final thoughts for Oregon Athletic Director Rob Mullens. I know the summer, a lot can change as we've been discussing.
Woo!
And what are you going to do over the summer?
Well,
Rob?
right now we're just on standby waiting for the final ruling on the House settlement because we have a lot to implement.
Right.
And, we're doing a lot of scenario planning, a lot of preparing, but we have to see the final settlement before we hit go. And, this thing is going to be live July 1. There is a lot of work. As you can imagine, when you have 2 new databases and new systems, there's a lot of just basic info that needs to be loaded in. We're in the starting blocks.
I hope you at least get a little bit of time off.
We're going to carve out some time for sure.
Good.
For sure.
Good. Oregon Athletic Director Rob Mullens, we'll have look, there's always going to be things that change, but what will stay the same is that the Ducks will be back at practice for the fall seasons coming up end of July, which means we'll be back here, and we still get to talk about a pretty awesome environment around here.
Yep. Well, thank you to you guys for all your support throughout the year. I know, it's planes, trains, and automobiles. A lot has to happen to pull all this off, and we appreciate all that you do.
Well, thanks. Oregon Athletic Director Rob Mullens, here's to at least one day off.
Here we go. I got you. One day sure.
when we come back, thank you, Rob. We're going to review the season, Oregon softball season, that is, with head coach Melyssa Lombardi. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
With a great selection of new Toyotas, everyone knows your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer, even your pet parrot.
Right, your summer starts here.
Well said.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 2nd.
Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
With a great selection of new Toyotas, everyone knows your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer, even your pet parrot.
Right, your summer starts here.
Well said.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 2nd.
Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now, don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say yeah.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio, and I wish that our next guest was currently in the state of Oklahoma, but alas, we're going to talk a little softball with Oregon softball head coach Melyssa Lombardi. Coach, you always want to win the last one, but congratulations on a heck of a season, Coach. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. It was an unbelievable season. I will never forget version 7. Yeah. Such a special group, and I think about just the journey that we went on all year, and it was awesome.
You know, you mentioned version 7, so I wanted to ask you about this to kind of go down memory lane a little bit now. Like, here's now the 7th version in the books, but you think back to version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, those were the building blocks that got you here. Like, have you thought about that? Like, has that kind of hit you here at the end of the season?
Yes, for sure. That's something that's just come up a lot, and I agree. We would not be where we are today with version 7 if it wasn't for versions 1 through 6. They were the building blocks, and we just kept each year getting closer and closer to what we wanted to do. And then this group this year, they were able to figure it out.
And thinking about even some adversity with a conference change, there's a lot of unknowns this year, right? How do you feel like your team handled some of those unknowns now in getting to Oklahoma City?
I thought they handled it really well. I thought they did. And I think for us, we just talked a lot about things that could come up and what it would look like and how we want to handle it. And they did. The travel, was a little different, but they managed it and they did well with it. They did great with their school all year. They played great softball.
You won 54 games this season. That's the second most in program history. 7th appearance ever at the Women's College World Series. And we were talking even during the break just now. Won some games there, right? Like, you didn't just get there. How big of a deal was that? What's your review of the WCWS?
It's the best. It never gets old. Like, it will never get old going there. And once you get there, you just want to get there every year after.
Sure.
Like, you do not want to miss one year. It's going to Oklahoma City and getting off exit 132A and going into that grand stadium and, you're playing in front of 12,000 fans. And, we have our group, behind the dugout, and they're just as loud. Our fans have been amazing all year, but to be in that big crowd and still hear them getting after it was really neat.
I'm glad you brought that up because, like, listening to Saul and watching, right, like, you could hear the Go Ducks chants.
Yep.
What does that do for your team? And how special was it to have even some alumni there in support of your program?
It does so much. Our alumni have been amazing. They've been amazing for the past 7 years. But this year, there were so many of our alumni that were on this journey with us that were with us in the fall or sometime during the spring or in the winter. And they knew what we were doing, and they were advising us on how to go about it. And they all kept saying the same thing. We'll see you in Oklahoma City. We'll see you in Oklahoma City.
Nice.
And so to get to Oklahoma City and see them there front and center, just prideful for this group. I love our alumni, and I'm thankful for what they've done all year for us.
Now you got a group of seniors that are going to be paying it forward here sooner than later, right? I mean, you talk about a team, a senior class that's responsible for leading a team to school records in, get this, stolen bases 175, runs 491, RBI 438, scoring 7.67 runs per game. Fielding percentage 980. Defense wins championships, right? Sacrifice flies 25. Those are all school records. And this senior class was a big part of that.
They were. And this senior class was a special group. They were so driven and just led with grace. Just were convicted in what they were doing. The belief that they had in all of our, in their teammates. I think for the freshmen, to have them as seniors is pretty special.
Yeah.
It was just a magical year.
I want to talk about the freshmen coming up and just how valuable this experience has been as we continue with Coach Lombardi. But to stick on the seniors, I mean, the Luchars garnered so much, deservedly so, national attention for an All-American season, for a 60th stolen base. Kai Luchar became only the 15th player in NCAA Division I history to steal 60 bases in a single season. Just the careers of those two, the seasons that the Luchars had.
Our seniors, they went out on their own terms. They wanted to do it a certain way, and they never wavered from it all year. Just looking at Des with the walk-offs,
right.
Looking at Stacy coming in with big, crucial innings to keep our season alive. They were all just in it and wouldn't refuse to see anything but us being at the World Series.
And how about I think that those two are such a great example of the transfer portal working in this era, right? Like, that was a big part of your team this year.
Big part.
Paige Zanicki also. 193 consecutive games at shortstop. Can you put into words how impressive that is, especially for a Gold Glove caliber defender at that position?
It's really impressive because she works at that position different than anybody else does in the country. A lot of people play there and they're good with the routine. We'll make some 50-50s. I mean, she is on another level, and the way she goes and how she moves her body, and to stay injury free, but at times have injuries and understand how to play through it and still be great at what she does. Yeah. It's impressive.
Talking softball with Coach Lombardi. Okay, so now it's the off season. So what happens now? What are you going to be up to for the foreseeable future?
Well, for us as coaches, we get into recruiting and we get into building and preparing for next year. Our athletes will take some time off, and but then they're so excited about version 8 and next year and getting back to the World Series that I think you'll see. I mean, their training was excellent this past summer, but you can't unsee it.
Right.
And so you just you enhance and you go to another level with everything that you do after.
You know, and to that point about the experience, I mentioned, like, just for example, the freshman class. We got the freshman phenoms poster still up in the studio, right? Like, hopefully that's going to be signed by all of them here coming up in a few years. Just that perspective, Coach, how valuable is that experience of the season that you put together and kind of demonstrating this is what it takes at this level?
It's really valuable because the hardest thing about the World Series is getting there. Once you get there, you get to compete. You're not trying to get to Oklahoma City. You're there. And so now you just get to play. And when you understand how that works, the next year, you know exactly what you need to do, and you understand how important every single game is and how important every pitch is, and you learn how to just every game stay in one moment and then get to the next moment.
Yeah.
You don't waste at bats. You don't waste opportunities. It's different now.
The game slows down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious, too. Academic commitments, right? It's dead week, then finals week, next week, graduation approaching. Do you want them to take a break from softball? How long do you want them to be away from the game?
Yeah, I think it's good for them to take a break. You know, usually the month of June, I leave them alone. Like, as far as their strength and conditioning, you got to stay with what you're doing.
Yeah.
But usually the month of June, they slow down or take off. Pitchers need to stop throwing. You know, they need time for recovery. And then from there, end of June, we start sending our workouts to them, and they're already doing stuff. But you know, you need some time to walk away.
Yeah.
You need some time. So this is the perfect opportunity right now for them to understand what they want to do with their time.
You know, Coach, too, like I'd imagine that there's this like anticipation to come back for the fall, especially when you get away from the game for a while. Like, what's that like for you as a coach? What's that like for your student athletes coming back for the fall now?
We're all feeling it. Like right now, if we could all go to the Jane and start practicing, we would.
You would.
We would. Like we want to get going with it right now, but I think we all understand the importance of you also have to take some time off.
Yeah.
And have opportunity to reflect and celebrate the season.
Sure.
And then from there, think about what's next. Because once you get there, like for this group, there's nothing less than we will be back there next year.
Right.
Like not acceptable.
Well, and you've set the bar now.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think that's where I always think about like the staircase of seasons to seasons. You know, like we talk about the versions and like. Now this team has that expectation again. Like, how proud are you of that? That's kind of the culture that's now been instilled.
Really proud, because that's what it takes to win the whole thing.
Right.
You have to have that expectation, and I think, you know, version 8 is now an extension of version 7. And what they thought about coming in this summer and us as coaches to get them there. They know how to get there.
Yeah.
So now how do we get there and compete and be standing on the last day?
Right. Now, it's a little bit unfair because the off-season is the off-season, but a quick look ahead to what's back. What do you like about your roster? What do you like about your team that you're bringing back for version 8?
Just the experience. You know, they got the experience of playing at the World Series. I like that we're bringing our pitching back. Pitching is everything.
Big
you know
deal.
how it is. Pitching is a big deal in softball.
Yeah.
So to have those guys, you know, pitching at the World Series and returning, you know, obviously we got some big shoes to fill.
No doubt.
But we will. We'll get that figured out.
Another class of freshman phenoms.
Yeah.
You know, another Des Patman that comes in, right? Like, you know, that's the modern roster management, right?
It is.
mean, you're always looking at these things.
It is. But it's exciting. You know, like version 8, I don't want it doesn't have to be like version 7.
Right,
like I'm excited to see what version 8 becomes.
Yeah. I remember we talked in the fall, and it was like the personality of this team was something different from the other versions, right? And, you know, there's always going to be a little bit different. But I know you always like defense. You like pitching. You know, the makeup of your team maybe changes, but the way you win perhaps doesn't.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Coach Lombardi, thanks for taking the time. Even, again, playing sick. Look at that. Like, Coach Lombardi has been with us even after the long season and coming into the studio. Coach, we can't thank you enough. We appreciate it. Best of luck in the offseason. You get some rest, too.
Yes, I will.
Will you? All right. Time out. When we come back, we're wrapping up the show. It's the last show today. We got more coming on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Kids ask their parents a lot of questions.
Why can't people fly?
Gravity.
Is the moon really made of cheese?
Yep, cream cheese.
When can I move into a big kid's car seat?
For some questions, parents may not have the answer, but that's okay. They can't know everything, but knowing the right seat for their age and size will help protect them in a car crash. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Where do babies come from?
Good luck, Dad. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I want you to know. I said I want you to know right now. You've been good to me, baby.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Dave was asking, finding out about recruiting. Well, my disclaimer. On the Oregon Sports Network, we cannot talk about recruiting until a national letter of intent is signed. That's still an NCAA rule, and I don't want to get an angry email from our chief compliance officer because I like my job. However, for advice on where to follow around with recruiting, I would just say that there are some entities out there that cover such things. There's usually a subscription service. Dave, I hope that helps you. I hope it does. Also, I thought this was an awesome comment, and I want to read it from Lisa talking and commenting, I think, when Rob was on with us. You should give Becky Sisley some love. She was really the originator of the softball team and the original women's athletic director. Lisa, that is well said. Becky has an award in her name here in the athletic department that we give every year. And, man, the speeches that are given by recipients of that award are some of the most emotional and grateful speeches that I have ever heard in my life. And that's because of Becky. That's because of what Becky Sisley's done. Well said, Lisa. I really appreciate that comment. Looking ahead to next year, we thought, well, we like highlights. So we put together some highlights. Men's basketball season. Let's start there. Getting ready for a season with, some big names returning. How about men's basketball, the year that was, as we get ready for next year?
Oh, it is so good to be back at Matthew Knight Arena. Luke Jackson is here, folks. What do you make of this team heading into this season?
I'm really excited about this group. You know, I think they're going to start squeaking into that top 25 a lot faster than people think.
Passes to the right wing, Moss around the screen, bounce pass to Biddle, slam! Long rebound, Brandon Angel.
Another offensive rebound by Brandon Angel.
Now Bamba behind the back dribble off the pass. He scores an and one. Dribbles down the left side. Picks up the dribble. Passes it to Tracy. Runs the floor. Tracy slam. Shellstad passes it to Bartholomew. Catch and shoot. Cans it. Right corner. Ducks move to 4-0. Much better. Still things to work on, but you're 4-0. Ducks with a 1-point lead. Shellstad. Tough drive, tough take, tough finish.
What a shot from Jackson Shellstad, the runner.
Now Ratai dribbles, launches, misses. Rebound, Biddle. That will do it. Ducks 78. Beavers 75. Another close victory at Gill. Another happy drive home. Welcome to Las Vegas, a place where the Ducks have had an awful lot of success under Dana Altman. Another iteration of one of those tournaments, the Players Era Festival here. Game 1 of 3 for the Ducks, taking on some good competition. Back to Shellstad. Biddle sets a screen. He goes the opposite direction. Shellstad from the right mid-post hits the runner. Oregon by 3. Barthélemy in the corner. Catches it, dribbles to the elbow. Kick out, Bamba 3. Good! Ducks back up 10. 80-70. Oregon beats number 20 Texas A&M. Good win for Oregon. And a 78-68 win for the Ducks over San Diego State this afternoon.
Barthélemy gets it over midcourt. 8 seconds. Drives to the rim. He's got room. Layup. No. Biddle put back jam. Oh, Biddle slammed it in off the rebound. Oregon leads with 4.4 left. Tracy defending him. Gets it over the timeline. Sears to the rim. To Nelson. No shot. The layup is good, but it's late. They're going to review it, but I think Oregon's won this game. 83-81. The Ducks win the Players Era Championship, taking down number 9 Alabama. Coach, woo, what a game.
Woo! How about them Ducks? Let's go! Big Ten Conference play starts tonight against a familiar face on the road in Los Angeles. The Ducks facing the Trojans of USC, the 9th game of the season and the first in the Big Ten Conference slate. Just over 4 minutes to play. Tied at 55. Shellstad hits the 3! Ooh! Ducks move to 1-0 in Big Ten play and remain undefeated, 9-0 on the season. 68-60, spins to the basket, puts up a shot through contact, no good. Evans gets the miss and scores as he falls to the floor. Barthélemy lob inside, Cook sealed his man again, slammed it home. Oh. Spins to the basket, slices through 2 defenders and scores. In the final non-conference game, Ducks win over Weber State, improves to 12-1. To Biddle, left mid-post, tries to go to work, kicks out, Barthélemy triple, yes!
How did Nathan Biddle find Barthélemy?
3 from Miguel off rim, offensive putback, no good. At the buzzer, the Maryland Terrapins score. Ducks win. Shellstad with it. He gets loose, fires, hits! The Ducks lead it for the first time since the 10-11 mark in the first half. Rebound grabbed by Ohio State. Shot no good. Ducks win a grinder in Columbus. Dribbles to the top of the circle, now down the right side, fades away, hits the J! From the right mid-post, Ducks lead by 2. 82-81 Ducks with 2 seconds to go. Bam Tracy to inbound. He tries to get it to Biddle, deflects away. Shellstad covers it up. Oregon victorious. 82-81.
We've been in these games before, man. If you go back all the way back to Vegas in December, I mean, we've been in these games, and sometimes it's a blessing and a curse. You know, we just play close games, and we've been there. And I remember after one of the timeouts, I told the guys, we've been here before. Let's just execute, do what we do.
Rebound Michigan State, and that'll do it. Spartans 86, Ducks 74. Ducks drop their 5th straight, trying to get off the snide when they come back home.
Guys going to have to man up here a little bit. We've got to get back going again.
Driving, kick back out, Shellstad 3, 2 to Barthélemy, 1. Hit it! Ducks break the losing streak. 81-75 final. Oregon over the Wildcats and just have to find a way to win down the stretch. Ducks did that. 13 to shoot. Shellstad another step back 3. Oh! 17 for Shellstad. 62-48 Ducks. They lob it in to Bronze. Hand off to Dick. Step back triple. Blocked by Biddle. At the buzzer. Doesn't go. Oregon downs the Hawkeyes. 80-78. Oh, what a finish. Oregon inbound. Up top to Shellstad. Shellstad. Long 3. Oh! Tie game! Out of Barthélemy left wing. Inside to Biddle.
Biddle to work. Biddle right hand. Good. Ducks win at number 11, Wisconsin. Trailed by as many as 17. Winners 77-73, the final in overtime. This is the 3. Evans offensive rebound, back up and 1. Out to Angel from the right wing. Now Biddle up top. 5, 4. Shellstad long 3. Wow! NBA knocks it down. Ducks by 2.
That was from the logo.
Biddle from the right wing, trying to attack to the right block. Bounce past Tracy, cut into the basket, lays it in. 7 straight wins. Ducks victorious in Seattle, 80-73. 7 straight, heading to the Big Ten tournament. 36 seconds to go in the half. Shellstad to Barthélemy, fakes one way, now to the elbow, into the middle of the lane, hits the floater. 10-0 run for the Ducks. Passes to Tracy, catch and shoot, hits the right wing 3. Oregon moving on. Ducks win 72-59 over Indiana in Indianapolis. 8-game winning streak comes to a close for the Ducks in the Big Ten tournament quarterfinals. The 1-seed Spartans advance to the semifinals. And now Oregon awaits Selection Sunday. March Madness in Seattle in the Pacific Northwest. A lot of Duck fans in the building. Oregon will be the final game of the first round against Liberty, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Now tries to pull up, has it stolen by Bamba. Bamba ahead to Shellstad, sets his feet, left wing, knocks down the 3. 16-2 Ducks. Now inside, Biddle puts it back. Angel drove right side, didn't go. Nate Biddle and 1 on the putback. Dana Altman is 8-0 in first-round games in the NCAA tournament as the Oregon head coach. And the Ducks will get a Pac-12 reunion with Arizona coming up on Sunday here in Seattle. 87-83 Arizona. Ducks will have to heave it into Biddle, who fires from half court off the rim. Wildcats win. 87-83 final in another classic between Oregon and Arizona on the hardwood.
Losses like this hurt a lot. It's going to hurt for a while. We were right there last year and this year. A couple different plays, so free throws, anything, rebounds. Could have went a different way, so it's just going to sting for a little bit.
I enjoyed working with the group. I got after them pretty hard and said, we're not giving into this, and challenged them, and they responded. And so I loved working with the guys.
That's a special recap, and now gets me excited for the next year. When we come back, we'll do that for football season. Going to be here before you know it. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Final segment of Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Football season is going to be here before we know it. Let's look back at the year that was. It'll get you fired up for the year that's coming here for Duck football.
Welcome to OnPoint Stadium. Welcome to 24. And welcome, Georgia, to a new era in Oregon football. Snap to throw. Swing it out. Wide open. Catch May. Touchdown, Tez Johnson. That's pretty cool. Final score, Oregon 24, Idaho 14. This was a good football game. On away, very low again. Tez going to take it, try to get it upfield. First man misses, trying to get it outside now. We'll cut it up, got room. 20, got a couple of blockers. 30, 35, 40. Down the sideline of the 45. He's got the speed. He's got room. He's going to score from the 5. Touchdown, Tez Johnson, punt return. In essence, almost an extra point. They'll put it on the 15, so a 25-yard field goal. It'll be for the win. Snap good, placement good, kick on the way. It's good. It's over. Oregon has won their first game against Boise State in 4 tries in a most dramatic fashion.
It's odd. Isn't it just odd? Welcome to Corvallis Racer Stadium on a sunny September day.
How about that?
How crazy is this matchup today? Oregon and Oregon State.
And here's the handoff. It's going to go get through. 20. Whittington, 10, 5. Touchdown. No Whittington.
Took them behind a woodshed in the second half is what happened. Oregon came out in the second half and just closed the door. Oregon State, Oregon rivalry game. And the Ducks take care of business. Final again, 49-14. Oregon's very first conference game as a member of the Big Ten. And it's against the member that Oregon is very familiar with, the UCLA Bruins, wanting to go deep down the field. And he has got it. It is Tez, touchdown Oregon. So here we are, final score, Oregon 34, UCLA 13. Running left, throw it left, touchdown left to Tez Johnson. And the Ducks are 5-0 and 2-0 in the Big Ten. And get ready, because a week from tomorrow evening, Ohio State and the Buckeyes will come in. Final score, 31-10, dominating for Oregon. Gabriel ready. Ohio State showing pressure. Gave it to he kept it. He's going to get a first down or more. 20, inside a block at the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Dylan Gabriel. Snap, hold, kick, long, plenty, straight. Good. Sappington gives Oregon the lead back. 32-31 with a minute 47 remaining. Here we go, 6 seconds left. 38-yard line of Oregon. Howard steps back to throw. Looks right, pump fake. Now will run and has room and hooks down at the 28-yard line, but the clock has run out. The clock has run out. Game is over. It's a final. Oregon is defeated. Number 2, Ohio State, 32-31. What a crazy finish to one of the best football games we've witnessed at OnPoint Stadium. Gabriel to throw. Gonna go to Whittington. He made the grab. Is that a touchdown? Yes, it is! What a catch. Holy cow. Whittington looks like a wide receiver with a grab from West Lafayette, Indiana. Final 35-0. The shutout. The Ducks over the Boilermakers. A lot to like.
A 0 on the board, and it was on the road. What's it mean to you guys as a defense?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. Every time we walk out there, we're going to have this standard that we have in the defensive room, that we want to, limit points and end it with a donut. And that's kind of what we was emphasizing today, and that's what we did.
Here's the handoff. There's Whittington up the middle. Busted 5, 3, 2. Lowers his head into the end zone. Whittington will not be denied. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. Touchdown, Oregon. Gonna run now. Oh, shovel pass to Whittington for the touchdown. Illinois, defensively, has given up 18 points a game. Oregon has scored 35 in the first half. Oregon, 38. Illinois 9.
Back to throw. Gabriel steps up, gonna run. Got a block. 10, 5, Dylan Gabriel, touchdown Oregon. Oregon will leave Michigan and get the victory over the Michigan Wolverines with a score of 38-17.
Everybody's best was needed today. Every single person on this team contributed to this success, and it was great to see.
Whittington in the backfield. Ferguson in the backfield as well. Back to throw. And wide open. We saw Janoris Wilson catch a pass in practice this week. Alignment, eligible, perfectly executed. Dylan Gabriel, 179 all-time total touchdowns. He now leads all-time, just past Case Keenum for number 1 in NCAA history. Only the 3rd time in program history Oregon has started 10-0 with a victory tonight, 39-18. Very, very hard-fought for win for Oregon tonight.
Back to throw. Up, they gave it off. Handed the ball to James, running right, gets a block inside, 2-1. Touchdown, Jordan James. And we have a tie ball game, 16-13. Oregon with the lead. The Badgers will have the ball at their own 17-yard line. Block. Back to throw. Sets. Throws. Batted down. Intercepted! Mateo Uiagalelei with the interception!
Every inch of the field they defended, tonight. They weren't going to give them an inch, and I'm really proud of that performance from those guys.
Take a deep breath, everybody. Oregon 16, Wisconsin 13. The Ducks get the job done.
Little pressure from behind. Drag down. Williams from the shotgun and the snap and to throw. Steps back, steps up, and goes down. Derek Harmon was one of several Ducks who were there.
It was like a brick wall just caved in on him.
For Devon Williams and the Huskies. From the shotgun, he's got the snap and back to throw. A little more time. Now it breaks down. Now he gets hit, goes down again. Oregon's defense is just too much. Wants to keep, now wants to throw. Got him open. In the end zone, touchdown. Terrence Ferguson was behind everybody. It's official. Final score, Oregon 49, Washington 21.
Always good to go 1-0. Certainly feels better to go 1-0 against those guys.
Big.
What a great way to end the season and get you ready now for the fall ahead. Our final Duck Insider today of this academic year. We'll be back with you coming up end of July. We're targeting July 28th based on the football schedule coming up. My thanks to all of our interns, Scott Phillips, throughout the course of the entire year. Everybody enjoy graduation season. We'll see you for fall camp.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster?
Yep, thank you.
It's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a